Hola amigos! After completing over 10,000 kilometers on this bike, we thought it was about time to take a longer look at the 700 Honda. Let's take it for a ride and later have a closer look at the bike itself. We'll take the 348 road heading west towards Lanjarón in the south of Spain. It's a long road with lots of sweeping bends. My height, 179 centimeters, and I'm about 90 kilograms in weight. My passenger, Brenda the honey badger, who is also the executive camera operator, is slightly shorter and lighter than myself. On these long sweeping types of roads, the 700 is surprisingly agile. I think Honda, staying with a 120 front and a modest 150 section rear tyre, coupled with a very good chassis, makes for a nimble and a very well balanced ride. Cornering with or without a passenger is almost effortless. And the relatively short wheelbase, for a touring bike anyway, means it flicks through the bends quickly as long as the suspension is properly set up. Overall, the suspension is a little bit soft, but that's to an advantage when riding all day, as is the case here. 90% of the time I ride with my passenger, Brenda the honey badger, and the bike is not upset by the addition of a passenger. As you can see, the 348 is a beautiful road to ride, an absolute joy. And by the way, a big thank you to Brenda the honey badger for her wonderful camera work. The adjustable screen on the bike in the up position is perfect for me. Remember my height, 179 centimeters, and the mirrors are perfectly placed. The reach to the handlebars is easy and feels very natural to me, and the bars are also adjustable. The seat to peg distance, however, felt a bit cramped for me, so I added an Air Rider seat pad, which raises me up by a centimetre or two. So now the seat to peg distance is perfect. The riding position overall, ergonomically, puts you upright and into the bike, and it's a very nice place to be. Very comfortable for long journeys. The bike holds its line into the bends very well, but it does get a little upset when cornering on bumpy and uneven surfaces. The bike has that Honda quirk of seeming to fit you as soon as you sit on it. A kind of one-size-fits-all feeling. And the lowish seat height is 805mm, means it's easy to flat foot on the ground. You can see some other riders enjoying the 348. I use Bridgestone Batlax touring tyres on the bike, and I'm very pleased with them. I wouldn't want to change them for anything else. The bike weighs 236 kilograms about, and to me that feels very light, but then I've come down from a 1100 Pan-European to this 700 Honda, and that means this bike is 100 kilograms lighter than the bike I had before. But if you were going the other way, moving from a small capacity, very light bike up to one of these, then maybe you'd find it a little bit heavy. Some of the bike specifications of note are it's a 680cc water-cooled, fuel-injected V-twin with shaft drive. Makes about 65 horsepower, which is about 10% more than the older 650 version of this bike, which we also owned at one point. It very clearly is not a sports bike in any way, shape or form. So if you're looking for massive power and immense acceleration and the handling of a GP bike, this isn't the bike you should be looking for. With the wide pannier lid, which were an option in Europe, it is a capable and comfortable tourer, with or without a passenger. For those to whom that massive speed is not an essential element to go touring. It actually chugs along effortlessly, and it's not upset by a pillion, and it's pretty stable. If you ask me what the top speed is, I couldn't actually tell you. I've taken it to 140 kilometers an hour, and that was enough for me. The fuel tank on the bike is just under 20 litres, and I get around 300 to 320 kilometers before it goes on reserve. On long uphill roads like this one, this is the A340A leading towards Sorbas again in the south of Spain. With its 5 gears, it actually pulls pretty well. It's only on a really serious incline that you'd have to drop a gear. If you're riding solo without a passenger, then it has a bit more speed and acceleration available to you. The bike has dual front disc brakes and a single rear. It has a center stand, fuel gauge, temperature gauge, and I said before, I think the seat height is quite low. In inches, it's 31.5 inches. It also has ABS and CBS, which is the combined braking system made by Honda. My understanding is that when you apply the rear brake foot pedal, the rear brake disc activates and one of the front 2 discs also activates. Riding up in the mountains is a joy on this bike. It's so effortlessly flickable. And we're riding here on the A366 towards Ronda in Spain, followed by our friends on an NT700. And once in the groove, this was a wonderful road, and I really enjoyed riding the 700 Honda on the mountain. I've been riding bikes for round about 50 years now, and this is one of those bikes that lets you know its limitations before you find your own, and that's a good thing. And as you can see, Spain is a wonderful place to be riding motorbikes. In Europe, both the older carbureted 650 version of this bike and this, the fuel-injected 700 version, are called the Deauville or Deauville or Ville or Divvy or Dulesville. It's actually named after a seaside resort in France. And to some, the pronunciation of the name seems to be very important. For me, I don't really care. I do believe in North America, it's just known as the NT700V. It's also my understanding in North America that the optional in Europe wider pannier lids are not available. Time for a closer look at the bike. Personally, I really like this Honda Red. Interestingly, if you're going to replace the rear tyre, the last part, this silencer part of the exhaust, has to be taken off. I believe there's a way to get round that, but usually you go to a tyre place, they'll take the silencer off. Our 700, luckily, was already fitted with the large, wider pannier lids, and that makes a big difference when you're going touring. It's also fitted with the Honda optional top box, and that's quite a big thing. I'm impressed you can get a full-size helmet in there. I also appreciate the very effective shaft drive on this bike. No messing about with oily, greasy chains. It has that air of Honda quality about it, this bike. And apart from some flimsy plastics, it is overall very well put together. My wife, Brenda the Honey Badger, who is my regular passenger, appreciates how easy it is to get on and off the bike, and also how comfortable it is on a long journey. The dashboard or the clocks of the bike nowadays are looking a bit old-fashioned, but they're very functional and easy to read. The pillion pad on the top box is very useful too. After a ride, when you turn the ignition off, the hiss system activates. It's this Honda security system, and a red blinking light comes on for the next 24 hours. Unless, of course, you ride it again. Putting the key in the slot on the left of the bike and turning it means you can open the pannier latches. Here you can see the pannier latch. And with the wide pannier lids, there's room for a full-face helmet in the pannier. The catches on the inside are known to be flimsy, so I've started putting some epoxy resin inside to bolster it up. We are also lucky enough to have the bags that fit inside the panniers. Here you can see the grooves for the adjustable screen. The switchgear on the bike is very basic Honda, and all the better for that, in my view. Very simple to use. Under each handlebar is a small cubbyhole compartment. The one on the left-hand side is lockable using the ignition key. The optional Honda top box, as I said before, is quite roomy. These plastic side panels are a little bit flimsy. This one on the right has to be removed to get to the expansion tank for the coolant system. The front indicator lights are built into the fairing. The dashboard clocks look just as clean and functional even at night time. The rear indicators are built in either side of the rear light cluster. The black plastic fairing lower was also an optional extra from Honda. Either side of the bike are these triangular crash protectors built into the bike. Other accessories I've fitted to the bike are a USB point on the left handlebar and heated handlebar grips. I actually like the look of the bike, and it looks very purposeful to me. We did have the 650 version, which you can see here, and you can see that the new one is much more angular than the old one. So far, I've had to fit a new voltage regulator, a new thermostat, and a radiator cap. Other than that, it's pretty good. The bike came to us with a full service history, but I doubt very much if that had happened. Things like the voltage regulator you would expect to replace at some point, and the thermostat. The radiator cap, that was just faulty. One of the riding challenges that really proves how good a bike is, in my view anyway, is what it's like on hairpin bends. And even two up with a passenger, it's very stable and very easy to maneuver on hairpin bends. This road is the A337, and it goes over the top of the Sierra Nevada in Spain. Wonderful road. Our bike is a 2009 model, and I've heard tell, or rather, I've read on the forums and on social media, that the 2010 models sometimes had a problem from new with spark plug caps. I don't know if that's true or not. If you know, maybe you'll tell us in the comments. My understanding is that the 650 model of this bike ran from 1988 until 2005, and then the 700 ran from 2006 to 2014. Next up, let's see what it's like to ride in town and urban areas. At slow speeds, even with a passenger, it's remarkably well balanced and easy to ride in town. If you're stopped for any length of time, however, the temperature gauge rises to the halfway point quite quickly. But with a new thermostat and a replacement for the faulty radiator cap, that's not a problem. My belief when you're buying an older bike like this is that maintenance is a priority, and as long as it's maintained and operating effectively, then you don't have any problems. These bikes, that's the 650 and the 700, are renowned for their longevity, and it's not unusual to see them crossing the 500,000 kilometer mark. The relatively short wheelbase actually is an advantage when riding around town because it can flick around and move left to right very easily. We are wandering about here in our hometown of Matheron in the south of Spain. In comparison to our Honda ST1100 Pan-European, the 700 is remarkably easy to ride in town. Anyway, enough of the town. What's it like to ride on a motorway? At 120 kilometers an hour, it's running at 5,000 revs per minute, which is 1,000 more than the ST1100 Pan-European. But it doesn't feel like it's working too hard. There is some vibration through the bars and through your knees, but it's not overly obtrusive. It will happily sit between 120 and 130 kilometers an hour all day. But then, obviously, the fuel consumption goes up a bit. Adding a passenger to the mix actually helps reduce the effects of wind blast when you're on the motorway. Not that that means riding solo on the motorway means you're pushed around by the wind. It just feels a little bit more stable with a passenger. That agile suspension also means that roundabouts are easy on this bike. I have ridden this bike in the wet, in the rain, and was quite surprised how stable it remained. Though obviously, in the rain, you slow down your riding. But all in all, I was quite happy to be riding it. I guess it would be useful to actually hear the engine note, to hear the bike running. So we're going to do that on a mountain run. There are two things you may notice as we ride along. One is the noise of the transmission, it's like a whine, and the other one is the gearbox. It does sound a little bit agricultural and clunks through the gears sometimes. That's just noise. It actually doesn't feel like that when you're riding. If you're interested, on our channel, there's quite a few touring videos of us on this bike. The road is the 332 heading south towards the coast and Puerto de Mazaron in Spain. So I suppose in summary, this bike is a very capable budget tourer or commuter, and it does everything Honda wanted it to do, I believe. It was a success, this bike, but because it's not hugely impressive in the power stakes, it's often overlooked. And that means often it's not expensive to buy. Is it a keeper for us? Well, I think so. I do think that. I do that normal biker thing of looking at the other bikes on the classifieds, and I can't find anything that does what this bike does for the same price. So yeah, I think we'll be keeping it. After all, it has everything we need to go touring on. It has the big fairing, tall screen, comfortable riding position, integrated panniers, top box, shaft drive, wide comfortable seat, and enough power to make it interesting. So if you're considering one of these, I'm hoping that this ride and review has been of some use to you. I am obviously not a bike journalist, but I'm hoping that my own personal views of this bike represent how good it actually is. Anyway, that's about it for now. We hope you've enjoyed the video, and maybe you'll come back and watch another one soon.